Alright, ready for this, Cliff? For section 1? With
Ready when you are.
some real news. I just need to be better, yeah, just in general, just better. I'm trying not to move too much so it doesn't look too choppy. Alright, here we go. Section 1. This week, we're starting off with Microsoft laying the cat out of the bag. Job posting hints Skype for Xbox en route. So what this basically is Microsoft had like a little conversation with Skype, and it got released. Um, Job ad: we're building the next generation of our products and technology right here in London, and Skype is looking to hire a software development engineer to contribute to the development of our experiences on Xbox. So this means that there might be future Skype applications on
Integration.
Xbox,
Yeah.
and so for all the use with Xboxes, I don't have one, but for all the use with the Xboxes,
I actually do have one, but I think I mentioned it before. I haven't turned it on in like 6 months, so I essentially don't have one.
but would you put Skype
Um,
on it? That's the real
my,
question.
well, I don't really care for Skype anyways. Yeah, I know we're using it right now, but anyways, um, I I get the feeling that it may end up being kind of one of those gold features,
Hmm. Oh yeah.
or they might even hold off on releasing or integrating it with any Xbox until the next generation of Xboxes, because it's really late in the Xbox's life cycle for it to for them to be doing anything this radical.
Yeah. Apparently the mod just jumped off the Skype
Yes, you
bandwagon.
did.
So what are you guys using now?
We're using, well, for voice chat, we are using Mumble, and for text chat, we are using XMPP.
Skype is just Skype has had a lot of problems with me. I don't know why.
Skype is a lot more of a resource hog.
Yeah, which is why I need a better computer.
Yes.
All right. Well, anything left to say on this? I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, there's not much really to say about it. Just,
There's gonna be a lot of money
like I
trading
said,
back and forth.
yeah, it's either gonna be a gold feature or they'll hold off on it until the 720 or whatever the next Xbox is gonna be called.
Whatever they feel like naming it. All right, the next one I don't know very much about because I'm not a huge game
Hmm.
graphics nerd, so I'm gonna let you maybe handle this.
Crytek has announced that they have DirectX 11 graphics running for Crysis 3 on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360. This includes render features that shouldn't theoretically work on consoles. They've managed to kind of hack together a way to get parallax occlusion mapping and all these different really, really advanced features of DirectX 11 running on the Xbox 360, and the Xbox 360 only is supposed to run, I believe, DirectX 9. Um, they, I have to say, I'm rather impressed, just because, well, no one actually thought this was possible, but they somehow managed to somehow hack it together. I have, even if they walked up to me and explained it like I was 5, I would not be able to,
Well, Mr. Chris
I would
explained
not
it
be
for me
able
pretty
to
good.
comprehend it.
It means it looks pretty.
Well, yes. In, uh, in layman's terms, parallax occlusion mapping is an advanced form of bump mapping where you actually get silhouettes of things, so you could actually
Okay.
the shot. Yeah, when you're looking at the sun, you can get the silhouette of the trees next to it, and you have self-shadowing, even though you have really no polygons, which is impressive.
That's
I guess after reading that, that's not really. layman's term, but
Yeah, I'm
a little bit less complicated.
Cliff. I'm going to remind you right now that I'm a political science major, and
Yes, I.
technology is something that we acknowledge, but we don't know how to
But you don't.
do.
Yeah.
We
How I
realize
does internet.
how do yeah how does internet work? You know, it's
Basically, they're not, even though they have gotten this working with Crysis 3 on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, that's not a guarantee that they will actually use it in the in Crysis 3, because what it boils down to is what extent they're able to actually use this in on the consoles without actually choking the console.
hmm
And if they lose, if using this kind of stuff makes too much of a performance loss, then they're just going to leave it out, because obviously the first thing you want in the game is performance, then pretty graphics.
yeah. Yeah, obviously graphics are like I can't even play Skyrim at full graphics or anything.
I
So,
can't either, but that's because my video card is last generation, or
yes.
no, the generation before last.
Oh,
Well,
really? Well, I got a
technically,
new one, but it still won't run it. I can run
if you're going graphics cards generations, mine's like 17 generations ago, but they go up
like a
generations.
year ago. Well, technology advances way too fast for my comprehension and my budget.
Well, eventually we'll hit that plateau.
Yeah, when we're flying around in tubes
Exactly.
and crashing into things at too many miles per hour. All right, ready to move on?
Yep.
All right. DOTA 2 will be free to play. And this is Defense of the Ancients, which I have not played the original, so I don't know very much about it.
The original Defense of the Ancients, for the people who don't know what it was a mod. It was a custom map for the game World of Warcraft, or not World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3. Sorry, there's a big difference between the two, and
Yes,
someone would kill me for getting them wrong.
someone would kill you.
Um, what it was a custom map for Warcraft 3, the Frozen Throne, I believe. And basically what it is, you pick a character, you pick a hero, and you just play as that hero instead of actually instead of playing the normal Warcraft style and commanding all these troops and having them do everything. You're just playing a single character. So it's almost more like an RPG. And you're just trying to destroy the other person's base. It's almost everyone knows this concept. Almost. And DOTA 2, well, after Defense of the Ancients got big, and League of Legends and Heroes of New Earth and all the different clones started getting released, Valve went and bought the rights to Defense of the Ancients. So they are currently developing a sequel to Defense of the Ancients, which we previously had thought was going to be a pay-to-play game. But now Gabe Newell has announced that it will actually be free to play with a twist.
Now, from what I've read, they're planning on making it so it's more friendly to those who are friendly to others. They're trying to have some kind of system within the game that rewards people who, do valuable things to other people and groups.
So, what that kind of says to me is, if you are credit to team, you're gonna get more good stuff. If you're just going out and striking out on your own and lone wolfing it, and even if you're good, if you're lone wolfing it, you'll get a little bit less of a reward. I'm thinking.
I
don't
don't know how
know.
it
This is
works.
all more of it.
It's all in
more
Gabe's head.
speculation than anything, but
Can you count to 3?
chances are, yeah, there probably will be. If not hats, there will be something.
I want
Because
TF2 hats for this.
Valve.
So
You know, since this is Valve, chances are there will be some sort of tie-in between this and Team Fortress 2.
but there won't be a third one. That's my point. So enjoy 2 while it lasts. They'll be really good, and then that'll be it. I don't think he's quite that Mr. Chris, but he does push new ideas. So it was pretty interesting to read. I mean, I don't play very many video games. I pick one up here and there, but not this one. I might actually try since it is free to play. So like, what do you have to lose?
Your sanity.
My sanity.
Life.
Days and days of downloading things. Oops. That was weird. Oh, it just loaded more comments. Thanks, page.
Oh, it's loading comments. I didn't even notice because it sucked at it.
Definitely noticed that for a game. Yeah.
Defense of the Ancients is one of those games where if you want to get really good at it and actually start having fun with it, you're going to have to invest a lot of hours in game practicing and just in game time in general. If you don't have that kind of hours, then you're not going to have as much fun with this. You might still have fun. I personally never really cared for this kind of game, but I'm still going to play it because I played the original DOTA.
Oops.
Yep. I want to see how different
Don't
this
look,
is
Cliff.
from the original.
Don't look at the screen for a second.
Okay. I still have it paused from like a half an hour ago, so...
Okay, well, I kind of screwed something up real quick.
Don't do that.
But alright, there we go. Alright. I did want to make the comment because I just remembered that this happened. The Skype and Xbox story was donated to us by Hadesbane. I wanted to make that remark because I almost forgot. I'm sorry, Hadesbane, if you're in there, if I almost forgot. But
I think he left before the show because we were a bit late.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hades.
Actually, no, you know what? He left because he had to go anyways.
No.
Yeah.
Well, his story got talked about, so... he also has one more later on, I believe. So the next one was donated to us by Mark, who is the most awesome guy in the world for me right now because he actually wrote his own article about a video game.
You can cover this one because
Yeah.
I mainly talked over that last one, so
That's
feel
fine.
free to go on this one.
All right, so this one's... Oh God, says Mark. So this is Supercross 2000, and from what I understand, Supercross is an extreme sport with lots of guys on dirt bikes, and I assume lots of danger. I can link you guys to the full story. It's the full written article by Mark himself. His name's right there. Yeah. This is pretty cool. I don't know a lot about sports like this because I'm not big on sports. I'm not really big on extreme either. But it's a game that I can see where its appeal comes from. Now it is made by EA, and I have very mixed feelings about EA, especially their sports stuff. They seem to just have the market. I feel like they're a monopoly almost, but if you're into this sort of thing. Mark here asks if you would like a Supercross game to come out. the devil of video. I don't think they're quite the devil of video games, but they pretty much do have a monopoly. Yeah, talk to Mark about it. He knows more about it than I do, obviously, but from what I gathered, it's a fun game for those that like this kind of sport. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, they actually do have a monopoly on the real people, for the real players for Madden, I believe.
Yeah, they do.
They have the exclusive license to use player names,
Mm-hmm. It's true.
but I may be remembering wrong.
I believe they have the exclusive license to use player names, which I have really mixed feelings about. That's even worse than just the sports in general,
Oh,
because
I'm glad I'm right.
they do have the mass market on the sports themselves,
Yeah,
but the players themselves
but
they do have a monopoly on. No, you're right, Cliff, which means that Madden doesn't have two of them at all, basically.
well, eventually someone will notice. Eventually, the public in general will start to notice. Hey, wait a second. Madden 2027 is the same as 2026, is the same as 2025, is the same, and then it just kind of spirals downward from there, and then everyone will be
But how
just
long will
kind
that
of
take,
realize,
Cliff? How long? Oh,
like I said, 2027. That's my guess.
oops, I didn't mean to do that.
No, too much faith in humanity would be saying by the end of the year, maybe people would realize, oh wait, EA is just making the same game over and over and over again. Yeah, no.
Well, people like the same thing. We talked about that last week, conservative viewpoints. Anyways, let's move on to some medicine. And you guys might want to start taking some aspirin. Aspirin fat burning mechanism found. Did you send me this one, Cliff?
Yes, I did. I sent. If you don't know where it came from, chances are I sent it to you.
Oh. Well, I forget what I look up sometimes, so to be fair, I'm a pretty forgetful person. Anyways, the story is about how there might be something within aspirin that may it may also reduce the risk of cancer and may even be I think it just says it's protective against cancer.
The drug salicylate, I believe, or well, the chemical salicylate, inside of aspirin. I believe it's the main ingredient of aspirin. I'm not very sure on this medical stuff, so don't quote me on anything. But the salicylate is, according to a recent study by Professor Graham Hardy, a cell biologist at the University of Dundee in Scotland, they have discovered that it is people who take aspirin over long periods of time appear to have a lower incidence of cancer. I'm not sure how much lower. It may be just slightly lower or greatly lower. I'm not quite sure, but there is a lower incidence of cancer in people who have taken aspirin over long time periods who regularly take aspirin over long time periods. However, that doesn't mean just go out and buy all the aspirin, because doctors still do warn against prolonged use of aspirin, because this can lead to stomach bleeding and things that are essentially pretty much just as bad as cancer, just in different ways.
Fiendish, just watch your aspirin intake because I don't want you
So,
to show up on this show.
so basically, what these studies are showing is, yeah, piano. I don't blame you. What the study is showing is there may. I don't know. My train. Don't you just hate it when during the middle
Yeah,
of your sentence your train of thought just crashes into a tree and explodes?
like my computer.
My train of thought never just derails. It's never calm like that. It's always really violent when my train of thought gets interrupted.
Well, I think that obviously there's still dangers to taking too much aspirin, but I think they were saying that they were going to look into they were looking into taking the you're going to have to pronounce the term for it,
Salicylate?
salicylate, and putting it into a form that will have fewer side effects, fewer dangerous side effects. So it's an interesting story. Again, I don't know much about medicine either. I think piano would be more aligned to this because they're a bio major. But I'm curious how much
Yeah,
more.
I haven't actually looked up the study and actually really looked into it, but I am kind of interested. I might actually take it upon myself. God, I hate that. I'm using a footrest, and every time my foot slides over, I kind of jolt forward. Anyways, um, so yes, that's why you see me just kind of jolt forward because my foot just fell off my footrest. Um, I will actually look up. I will likely look up the study and kind of actually read into it. Yeah, it would be great if they could actually find what specifical English. I am good at it. What specific things are doing this, and if they could make it less bad, for lack of a better word, right now.
Until you find your dictionary.
Until my brain dictionary reloads.
I think they have pills for that.
Yeah, it's called aspirin.
So it's a cool little story. I wouldn't say go out and get all the aspirin you can because it does have quite negative side effects when taken prolonged. But if you have interest in this stuff, we got it here. All right, and our hold on one
One
sec.
final story before we take
Our
a
final
break.
story before we take a quick break. Um, did you send me this one?
I'm not quite
I
sure.
think that someone else sent me it, but I could not remember who sent me it. They might be in this chat.
I might have sent it to you. I might not have. All I know is that I've been super hyped about this just because it sounds cool.
All right, so Ast-
Basically,
Asteroid mining venture backed by Google Excel's James Cameron unveiled.
James Cameron and Google executives are taking it upon themselves to back a plan to mine asteroids that are near Earth for resources like platinum, just precious metals, and water for some reason. Um, Now, obviously, everyone's gonna say, "Ooh, this is cool, space. This
Space.
is the future." Of course, you kind of weigh this against deep sea exploration, which James Cameron is also a backer of. Um, Cameron's just awesome.
Yeah, he goes everywhere.
Well, except for that Avatar thing. But anyways, besides that, James Cameron is just awesome. Um, he they're they are doing both deep sea exploration and space exploration, space ventures such as the asteroid mining, stuff like that. Um, what they're doing with the asteroid is they're looking for platinum group metals like ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, osmium, iridium, and platinum themselves, which are found in really low concentrations on Earth, making them pretty difficult to access, making them very expensive. And they apparently are actually so rare that they do not naturally occur on the Earth itself. They've gotten here through asteroid impacts. So, because of that, they're going to go and just go straight to the source and mine asteroids.
When will we find element zero? I don't know, Keyblade.
Instead of having to find the platinum after the asteroids hit the Earth, just go to the asteroid and get all the platinum in there. And apparently, a single platinum-rich space rock, 500 meters wide, would contain the equivalent of all of the platinum group metals ever mined throughout human history, according to company officials.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
This can be used in all sorts of stuff.
This is it's not just for pretty things. This is platinum group metals are used in defibrillators, handheld devices, TV and computer monitors, stuff like that. So, and fuel cells. So we could, if this actually came to pass, we could see monitor prices going down, um, we could see, could see, could see, could see defibrillators. That's always a tough word.
It is.
And we could see them used. Well, I'm not much in the medical field, so I'm not gonna go into the how often stuff like that is used and stuff like that. Just
We can revive him.
They still have to. They're still working on the plan,
Obviously.
but currently they have designed a high-performance, low-cost space telescope, which should launch to low Earth orbit within the next 2 years. And it'll make observations of its own, but will also serve as a model for future instruments that'll be closer to promising asteroids, and they'll look at them and observe those specific asteroids in much greater detail. The prospecting phase itself should take a couple of years, and then after that, they'll look into which asteroid they want to dig into first. Because obviously they're not going to just go into like 15 different asteroids at the same time if they don't even know if it'll work on one. So, while they're observing the asteroids, they'll still be working on the plans to actually harvest these asteroids.
Yeah, they also talked about possibly finding water on these asteroids.
I didn't really figure out why that was relevant, but I maybe skipped over that.
Well,
yeah, that's right, because then they can fuel.
Yeah.
They can be self-sustainable. Never mind, that's why they need the water.
That'd be helpful, wouldn't it? It'd be a lot easier that way.
Because you can break it down into hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen for air, hydrogen for fuel for the rockets.
It's perfect. So, looks like Twitch has finally ended. And just in time for us to take a quick break. So this is a pretty cool article. Space has always been like one of those daring ventures that I'm glad to see James Cameron take on himself. Because he's a pretty cool dude. Even if you didn't like the Avatar movie, he's a pretty cool dude.